Hi there and welcome to my studio. My name is Gideon, also known as Gideon Slide, and I am a creatively fit coach. Come join me in my studio as we play and have fun at the canvas and in our art journals. What are you waiting for? Here we go. Awesome and welcome back, dear creative heart. We are continuing to play in our journals. This is week 4 and today I'm so inspired by some of the goodies that I got this weekend. I found this very cute little cocktail napkin with this delicious monster leaf on it. I also found these little napkins, and we will definitely be playing with these two napkins today. I'm just trying to pull one out here, and then I can put that aside so that we can begin to play in our journal for today. Now, I was inspired by this photograph that I took. My husband and I, with our friends, went to this water park for the day that was in Seminyak, and what an experience this was. I've never been in a large theme park like this, and it was quite interesting to see how the people included their culture in the design of this phenomenal and world-class water park. So this is the scenery that we have around all of the water slides and swimming pools and spa tents and so forth. I will include some photographs for you in this photo of this day so that you can sort of get the feeling of what we experienced there. In fact, this little watercolor painting that I did, I painted at the park on the day we were there, and I just had to capture the beautiful greens and these beautiful leaves that I saw everywhere in the park. And I sort of am reminded of that day and of the beautiful plant life in Bali by this photograph. So what else have I got here? Let's just put that aside for a second. This is some of the metallic prints that I did yesterday, and I just wanted to see if any of it could be used in some way as a bit of a element, but we will see. I'm just keeping it close at hand so that we can have inspiration with us. I have some more printed papers that I brought along. You've seen this one about the leaves over the water pond, and this is also of one of the walls that I fiddled with a little bit, so the greens will work in our color theme for today, so we might pull on some of that. And then I have brought various green background materials that I have created recently that we can play with in this collage. So to save a little bit of time, I've gone ahead and I started to cut on this particular photograph because I don't want to use the whole thing as it is. I really wanted to focus in on this beautiful red tropical flower. There's a pink one up there, so that we can open up our page for more collage elements. So I also don't like this iron gate kind of aspect down here, so I'm definitely removing that. But don't throw this away, because you never know if something on here might work for another collage. So let's put that aside. I also don't want to use this bottom part, so I sort of pre-cut this aspect of it. So let's just take it down the trunk of the tree like that. because you can always, that sort of disappears, you don't really see that. So then I also want to just cut out the scene from the white frame. The colors of all these greenery is just so beautiful when you are in Bali. The light for me is completely different to where I'm coming from, South Africa. So the angle of the sun on the planet where Bali is situated is just so uniquely beautiful, and obviously that affects the plant life and everything else around you. It is just phenomenal. One of the art journal moments that I do want to celebrate is our first evening on the beach in Bali, and we had the most spectacular sunset, and it was just so much fun to just connect with our friends and just have the sundowner moment on the beach, and we just took such lovely photographs. So that's definitely a moment that I want to remember and celebrate. So we will look out for a future episode where I play with some of the sunsets. Now this works out beautifully because the tree trunk can leave the page here, so it comes onto the page and it goes off the page, so there's space for something in the background that will work beautifully. So there's some fussy cutting that I've already done. We can fiddle with that as we go. I thought, let's see what other elements do we want to bring in. If I cut out a leaf section here, I could maybe repeat some of the leaves on the left bottom corner and remove that. Then we have this diagonal movement through the page. That could also work, and just repeating this leaf focus down here will keep a perspective, because these leaves are closer, that's a little bit further. That could work, so that could create some focus for us there. I don't know if this wall could work if some of the leaves go over it. We'll need to create a bit of perspective with it. But I want to break this very, very blank page of ours in the background, and I was just so intrigued with this wax paper that I worked on, because there is just so much color on here. There's some gold, there's some green, there's a bit of everything, and there's even a very thin outprint down here of a leaf from our biggest stencil. Let me just pull that closer again. The stencil was on here, and again it's just repeating some of the elements in design that we have. I really like this. So I think before we put down anything, I think we need to give this page a wash, almost a glaze over with this wax paper, and there is enough acrylic on here that the glue will now take on it, and then we build on top of that. I like that idea. So let's see how this will go. Let me see here. I sort of want to make space for that. I'm sure it could just be stuck on top. I don't want it to be complicated, so let's keep it simple. Don't want to overthink anything. Let's try that, because I think this will give this page the correct wash of color that we need for this project. Oh, I just noticed here there's another little exercise I did with watercolor and with acrylic combination. It was just an abstract study. It reminds me a lot of these leaves as well. So maybe we could put some of that in the background and then put some of this on top of that. I like that combination, so I'm going to put this aside and then take these goodies that we're not going to play with immediately away, and then let's get gluing. I definitely want some of this leaf design in the background. It might disappear at one stage, some of it, that's also perfectly fine. And I think this page is really big, so let's tear the excess off. And over here, let's just give ourselves a little tear there, and then I can we go. I didn't know tearing was such a skill until I started tearing tissue paper for my collage. So remember, anything that sticks over on the page we can always cut neatly later. I think it's nice to have a sheet that fits and that you can work with, so that later everything fits the page perfectly. So I'm going to use my acrylic gel medium. I've got my trusted brush at the ready. So I'm going to stick this page down first. I've got my wax paper underneath my new page to protect it as I'm applying glue and paint and other materials. So let's get a good foundation going here. There is something that should not be there. So how are you guys doing? Are you getting inspired to get into an art journal of your own? Please join us on my Facebook page, The Creative Heart. There is a link in the description, and share some progress art with us there. This is my private group on Facebook, and these are all people that appreciate and participate in some form of my classes or my work, or just appreciates what I do and enjoys watching as I create. Oh wow. You see, now a piece of paper like this in your journal, there is only one of them on planet Earth. It's this one. And this is so amazing. It looks like a watercolor wash in the background. Isn't it just stunning? Absolutely love that. Okay, so I feel this dried out on me very quickly. So let's get that down. So it's the first time I'm using a bit of a wax paper here on the underneath. So I think before I put any other elements down on top of it, I am going to seal it with a layer of acrylic medium, so that whatever I put on top, it has something to bind to, just to make sure that these elements are sealed. I don't want any of it to lift or any of the elements that we add to peel off. So, but you know what, this is your art journal. It's just, I think experimental is a very big word, an important word that we have to keep in our minds, because I don't have a waxy in here. Let me move one up. There we go. Experimental, it gives you freedom in your mind to just play, to just have fun and not to overthink everything. I think I said in another episode that a lot of people overthink the processes and never commit. So that's one way of staying on the sideline and never, you know, jumping in and enjoying the process of creation. Now remember, I cut this page, so this is another way to fix a problem like that. We put an overlay on top of it, and then that will act like a little plaster here, and it will just seal it again. So I'm just pressing this down, just letting the glue or the matte medium just take hold of this paper. It will stick. It doesn't have a choice. Here we go. Oh, I absolutely love this. I just knew when I finished working on this sheet of wax paper, when I saw all these colors and washes on here, I just knew I had to keep it, because this would become a beautiful background element for our collage. Isn't that stunning? Oh my word, I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, so I think, like I said, to make sure that this can take more elements on top of it, I'm going to seal the whole page with a layer of my acrylic matte medium. So we had so much fun this day. There were some other friends that also joined the circle for the day. They happened to come through Bali, and we met up with them, and we spent the day at this water park, and it felt like a 5-star hotel kind of setup. It was really very professional and beautiful, and it felt like you were in a tropical paradise. And the way that they designed it, the layout of the place, it's quite big, with locker rooms and massage parlors, all done in this beautiful island style design, very Balinese in architecture, with lots of wood elements. And then of course this forest that surrounds everything, so it's so lush, and it cools you down because there's plenty of shade and areas to just meander, waterfalls, features, and of course the main attraction, hello, all the swimming pools and all the slides and the rides. And then they have you know, waiters that can come to your cabana or your little tent, and then they serve you lunch or whatever the case may be. That was just so cool. So we relaxed there for the day, had some sun therapy and some water therapy, and just let our hair down and enjoyed the beautiful weather in Bali. We went at the end of August, or end of July, beginning of August, that's more accurate, and the weather was absolutely wonderful. It wasn't too hot, it wasn't cold, it was just perfect. So I'm going to pause the video and dry this, because I'm sure you don't want to listen to my hair dryer for half an hour, because I want this to be completely dry before we continue to play in our journal. So I will be right back. So I dried this underneath wax paper that we've put down, And I also took the time to cut the detail out of these two elements that I want to include in this collage, celebrating the botanical experience that I had in this water park in Bali. So I also took the time to remove the backing of the napkins. Remember, keep it because you can always use it to create more collage papers. And one of the reasons why I took this particular napkin, besides the beautiful leaf design that obviously matches with what we are doing today, is we also have the graphic black and white background in the square design in the background, sorry. And that is reminding me that's so typically of Bali. The black and white squares and square designs is everywhere, so this is absolutely spot on, and this has to go into this collage. I also removed the backing of these little leaves. What's nice is I have 4 different ones that I can remove and use as an element, but to my surprise, the second layer of this little napkin had a beautiful ghost print. So it's really translucent and really light. I might actually use this in the background as well, because it's just a softer version of that. I also decided really it is time to play with this piece of napkin that I stained. It's just so pretty. There is shades of green on the outside, and it reminds me of reflection on the water. Even though it's brown, I do feel that it sort of grounds this design. So I just want to strip off this somewhere, maybe here at the bottom of this page, to just bring some of the brown earth elements into our design as well. So obviously some of these things will go down first, so I'm going to put these elements just to the side. When it's their turn, we can put it down. And I thought, let's begin with this little piece down here. Let's just see, yes, that side is very torn, but we can always use a section that we like. But I quite like this bit of reflection, positive and negative space in this particular. Let me just move it upwards before I tear it. Or you know what, tissue paper just tears so much better with water. So I'm going to use my little watercolor brush. I'm just activating it here in my little bowl so that the water starts flowing, and I'm just using the ruler to help me draw a straight line. And now that the tissue is weaker there where it's wet, it's easier to get a more precise tear. Finally, I'm going to put some of this very gorgeous tissue paper down. Let's put the rest aside to play with on another day. And I'm thinking down here, and again I'm going to let some of it just go over the page because I can cut it out later. Let's bring this in all the way, even though that opens up. We'll just fold it down. Let's just test again and see with this little piece down here. I don't mind that little difference there. I think it will work. Yes, absolutely. Let's do it. Like I said, I don't want to overthink, but it is a good exercise to just be mindful of your proportions, balance, and all of your design principles. So get the most water out of my brush. Let's get a good layer of acrylic medium down. So have you gone to a theme park of some sort in a country, and what was that like? One of the things that I found was really funny when we got to Bali, we spent a bit of time um, before we went to Bali to research um, this beautiful country, so that we could have a better idea of, what to look out for, what to experience, and that kind of thing. So all the videos and photographs we saw, well, not all of them, a lot of them, you see this most beautiful Instagram photographs and reels, and it just looks incredible because you don't see a soul in these shots. So if you've traveled at all, you will know when you get to your destination that there are a lot more tourists than you bargained for. So, at popular sites like at temples or the typical tourist kind of destinations, you get there and there are queues of people. So you sort of learn to just embrace it and go with the flow. You're there now, and you might as well just exercise some patience, because eventually you will get your turn. So when we went to this water park, even though we had what is it called, admission passes or something, we still had to stand in the queue and be registered, and then you receive this little key card and everything works on those little key cards of yours. And then at the end of the day, when you are done, then you cash out and you have paid everything that you've used at this facility. So this is rather advanced and modern for Bali, but yeah, it was interesting to stand in the queues and wait your turn. And as we continued on our journey and on our holiday through Bali, we sort of wanted to have a little bit of fun with these serious Instagrammers. So forgive me, Instagrammer, if you are a serious Instagrammer and you're looking for that perfect shot. I think these people get obsessed with the perfect Instagram shot, and I understand, it's their career and that's their way of making money, but not everyone is on that page. So there's a lot of behaviors that we noticed with tourists in taking their Instagram photos. So we sort of thought it would be fun on our holiday to have a anti-Instagram kind of attitude. There's a number of famous people right now that would take serious photographs or videos and sort of make a joke out of it, just play around with it and showcase, I'm thinking of a particular lady that mimics models, and really just, she makes a lot of fun of it, but in her own way she became a celebrity. So anyway, I'm babbling on here. We sort of embraced this whole thing that happened in Bali with this attitude of anti-Instagram, and so we had a lot of fun in our group with taking photographs and being patient in the queue. And then when you finally get a photo, because there's thousands of people in your shot, you don't get the typical Instagram shot easily. Sometimes it does happen. We sort of pulled our faces and we made a little peace sign and whatever. So not disrespect, it was just our way of playing with this tourist overwhelm, everyone trying to take the perfect shot. And sometimes people weren't aware that they're taking up everyone's time because they are trying to do a whole photo shoot, and not being mindful that there's 200 people in the queue behind them that also just wants to see what a particular feature is all about, And now we have to wait for the Instagrammers because their work is more important. So anyway, we had a lot of fun, and we have some fun videos and photographs where we are pulling our faces and rolling our eyes. So that was sort of our sense of humor that got us through the day. You know, even if you're touring and you're on holiday, sometimes you know, you also get tested in your patience, and you have to travel far to get to a particular site or whatever the case may be, and then there's a grumpy tourist in front of you or whatever. You know, so life happens. And that was our way to sort of just laugh it off, not to take it too seriously, and yeah, to play with that. So before I put this element down, I just want to bring the outside features back into the shot here so that I can just ponder on the placement. I feel this gap down here needs to be filled. So I'm going to pull this down here. And we place it like that, all the way to the top here. I like that. That's working for me because now some of this leaf design comes over here. This is becoming part of the background, and this is still coming over to this page where we can play with some of the other elements. So, okay, so I've made a decision. Let's pull this away. This is pretty much where I want to place it. So let's just turn it right. I'm going to do half with the gel medium. And so I'm going to do that. And then we're going to get this tissue paper down. Oop, I think I liberally squirted some medium here. Let me just keep that on my brush. Just carefully place this. Being careful not to tear my little tissue because it's so thin. Just want to make sure this little crease here is in the right spot. And then we can do this part. Oopsie, forgetting this is still wet. Let's go. This is so much fun. There we have it. Let's add a bit more. I'm so grateful for the holiday that we had in Bali. It was a dream come true experience for us, and I'm so grateful for the time that we went to Bali. It was really, I couldn't ask for a more perfect holiday. The weather, the company, the whole experience was just wonderful. It's not every day in my career that I get to go away for a whole 2 weeks to a foreign country. I think that was my fourth overseas trip in my life, so it was really special. So if you can travel a lot, be very grateful for that, because it's not necessarily everyone's opportunity, you know, to travel a lot. You might travel a lot and think, oh my God, you know, I'd rather stay at home. But count your blessings. Some of us can't always have that luxury. who were quite envious of our Australian friends and our New Zealand friends, because Bali is a 3-hour flight away from that part of the world. So on weekends, we used to see, the planes coming into Bali, and then the streets would fill up with foreigners, particularly Australians and New Zealanders, and they would come to Bali for the weekend. I mean, really, if it was in my backyard, I would certainly also have weekends and long weekends away to Bali, because it's accessible and it's so close. That was wonderful. Then I would see the husband sitting in the small little restaurants having a beer and looking at the sports on the televisions, and then the wife would go off and do shopping. Oh my word, I will have to spend a day or one of these chapters just on the little shops in Bali. I can talk about that for hours. I'm actually quite liking how this is coming together faster than we realize. This is that rich foresty feeling that I was trying to capture on this page. This is coming together very well. Okay, let's try to place one of these little elements. Let's see which one is the best. They're all fairly the same. So I'm going to use my little trusted watercolor brush. I think I must add some water to it soon. And I'm just going to go around this design, because whatever remains will just become see-through anyway. So this might work or it might not, but it's okay, because it's not the end of the world if it doesn't. And this is where I want to encourage you. When you play and you make a decision about your collage element, and you put it into your collage and you think, oh my god, this isn't working, you can just let it dry, you can paint over it, you can stick something else on top of it. It really doesn't matter. Okay, now before I put that down again, let me just get this back into the shot, because I don't want to cover everything up in the background, remember? I just want to, let's see what this will do here. It might be too subtle there. I also don't want to force it, right? But you know what? If it looks overdone, then it's overdone. You know, it's your art journal. It's my art journal. If I like it, that's all that matters. I must like it. I hope you guys like it too, but if you don't, it's no problem. It's my art journal. I must like it first. So yeah, I just want to encourage you guys, don't overthink it, just do it. And with each page that you do in your art journal, you learn something. That space up there, and it's still coming through in the background anyway. Remember, all the white really becomes see-through, so it's still there. I like this little bottom bit here at the bottom, and it's shining through. Yay! Okay, let's try these two like so and see what it does. So this almost looks like this mist in front of it. A misty forest. And I'm really hoping that some of this little line at the bottom will shine through. I'm just gently putting my glazing medium down here, because everything is wet. So it's going to be very subtle, but I like that. I can be subtle. I just like vivid color. I do like muted tones as well, but I'm mostly drawn to vivid, vibrant color. And I think it's because I sort of grew up with, I don't know how to put it. It's like the art world was just always outside of my reach, you know. And as far as interior design is concerned, my father believed you paint the house beige or eggshell cream, and if there is one boring color on planet Earth, that is beige. I mean, I like it as a design element, but really don't get me started. So I think working in bright vivid color is so satisfying to me, because it's like the anti-Instagram of beige. I think there you just got the whole joke of the anti-Instagram. You didn't get it before, now you do. Let's put that one down there. Oh, I just love these colors. It's so pretty. If you want to ensure that your tissue is transparent, you need to saturate it with your medium so that that part of it can shine through. Now I even have a bit of, gently does it on the stem here. I even have a little bit of texture here for me, because it's in fact two sheets of tissue on top of each other. I don't know if we're going to see much of that, but it's fine. I'm not going to fiddle much more with that, because I'm loving how this is coming together. So I think I must dry this before I put that on. But while that is drying, we can fix this part of our collage. So forgive me, I'm going to just move my diary to the left. While that is drying, you should still be able to see here, but I want to completely cover this part with gel medium and put it on top of the page. So you guys are also welcome to follow me on Instagram. If you want to focus in on my art, I've got Gideon Slide Art. You can search that at Gideon Slide Art, one word. And if you are interested to see what I do in my hairdressing, you can find me under at Gideon Slide. I thought it best to separate the two, because it's two such different worlds. I found that my hairstylist clients got a bit confused, because they thought I stopped doing hair and I'm now teaching art, which I am, but I mean, you know, a person can have more than one focus and career in their life. Most people have one that they focus on. I've been a hairstylist for over 30 years. And I have been embracing my art as an artist since I did my Creatively Fit coaching with Whitney Freya. And my husband and I got into that a few months into our marriage, and it completely changed our lives. I think it really just opened up a lot of doors with the Creatively Fit coach training. First and foremost, it helped me to embrace my own artist within. And I started to recognize that, you know, I've always because of a limiting experience that I had in not being accepted into art school when I wanted to go study school, I personally started believing that the world of art is now closed off to me forever. At least as a career choice, it will never, materialize. And then I found Whitney Freya, and her art inspired me. And then I learned she has an online school and she does creative coach training. And all of a sudden, the inspiration within me opened up, and I realized that I have another opportunity to enter the art world from the point where it actually is more meaningful to me, because I've always been a person-centered, orientated individual that likes to support people emotionally, mentally around me. That's why I also studied in modern applied psychology, so that the coaching for me can become an art therapeutic process where I can help people to recognize their creativity and use it as medicine for their life. Because it was medicine for me, I know how effective art therapy and therapeutic art processes can be to help us remain present and mindful, and not to be so overwhelmed with emotions and stresses and worries and concerns. Yeah, so that's how I got into my art coaching, creative coaching, and my husband and I now offer once a month we offer a coaching experience in the Botanical Gardens of Pretoria. It's called Painting in the Park. You can also find a group for that on Facebook. That's mine, Painting in the Park. If you live in South Africa, particularly Pretoria or Gauteng, then you are welcome to book a ticket for our next event, which will happen on the 3rd of April. We're going to be working with the symbology of the hummingbird. How yummy is that going to be? And just exploring through a process how this medicine and symbology can help you to grow and to bring these elements into your life. Now this is really wet, so again I'm going to pause the video and dry this with my hair dryer, because I'm starting to lift some of the images up with my finger and I'm tearing. So that's a good sign to stop and just allow things to dry completely, and then you can proceed. So I will be right back. Alright, so this is dried now and it's starting to look beautiful. Now I wanted to say you don't have to cover all your pages up with everything. Sometimes it's nice to have a quiet zone in your collage, especially if you want to maybe make some field notes about the day, or you can add a little note tag or something that you find interesting to emphasize that or create space for it. But you know me, I like to have a rich tapestry, and I think it just really gives this a feeling of walking into a beautiful green forest on a tropical island of the gods. What do you think? I think it's absolutely fabulous. So I'm going to put this element down as well. And then I think we are pretty much done with this page. So you can see some episodes, the pages come together fast and easy, and there is enough resource material to play with. So as you create, you will see that it becomes easier because you have more materials to play with. I'm sorry, I just need to move this to the side here. I'm just applying my acrylic medium on the wax paper here so that I don't smear it all over my page that I've just dried. And then we can complete this week's page. My husband is trying to come down the stairs quietly with the doggies. Don't worry, baby, you can come. It's all part of the creative process. Welcome to my beautiful world. Oh, my gel medium is drying on me very fast today. It's very hot here in South Africa, so I might have to put some more medium on here. I'm going to add some to the bowl now to just make my life a bit easier. And as we go underneath all these little fine detail elements, like that little branch there, it just brings everything together so nicely. It's down now. And then we're going to add some on top for good measure and to seal it all. This is so exciting. Dun, 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 dun. I think that is wonderful. We have a forest in our journal. Thank you, baby. I've been blessed with a cup of coffee. It's always yummy. Awesomeness. This is definitely coming together very, very nicely. I think I'm going to keep this quiet space there. I like that outline of the leaves that come from the stencil. I like the squares in the background. It almost gives me a vibe of a screen with some tropical plants in front of it, like you're entering into a garden. I love how this tree trunk runs all the way through the page. And I love this element that we played with, almost creating a bit of a pathway or a reflection on water, whatever it communicates with you. And then just the reality of real leaves and flowers mixed in with some collage elements is what makes this such a fun page to look at. So I might add, or you can add words like jungle, forest, Bali, whatever communicates with you. If you like to add some script to your journal or a little field note that tells you a bit about this day in this water park. I have to go back. This is one way of just looking and revisiting what you did to see exactly what the park was called and where it was located. But I personally am not so fixated on little details like that. It might be interesting to add to the journal, but for me, like I said in the beginning, right now I'm just laying down a foundation and telling a color story, a texture story about the experiences and the energetic experience that I had of Bali. So for me, that is enough to just recall this day by looking at these foliage and these beautiful plants, and I'm transported in my mind immediately to this day in Bali. So remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell so that when I upload our next week's um, journal, that you don't miss out on an episode. And please drop a comment below and tell me what you think of this forest collage and how it makes you feel, and if you are inspired. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you again real soon, and bye bye for now.